All right, it's still Good Morning Nigeria, live on the network service of the NTA. And to start our conversation, which borders on protecting power installations, let's take a look at this background report put together by our correspondent, Ibrahim Dan Hamidu.
Nigeria's power sector is a complex network of transmission lines, substations, and distribution systems that form the backbone of the country's economy. However, this critical infrastructure is facing unprecedented threats. In recent years, a surge in attacks on power installations has led to disruptions in electricity supply, resulting in significant financial losses and economic instability. The protection of power installations is a multifaceted challenge that requires more than just security personnel and surveillance cameras. It demands a comprehensive approach that includes legislative protocols, public awareness, and collaboration between the government, security agencies, and the public. Security experts and power sector analysts emphasize that critical national assets and infrastructures, such as power installations, are essential for ensuring a stable and reliable supply of electricity. The federal government has taken steps to enhance the security of these critical infrastructures, including the deployment of special task forces and the establishment of dedicated security units. However, the question remains, are citizens playing their part in protecting these critical infrastructures? On Good Morning Nigeria, our guests will discuss the threats posed by saboteurs to Nigeria's power sector and explore ways to implement effective security measures, foster collaboration, and support the country's progress. Join us as we examine the challenges and opportunities in protecting Nigeria's power installations and ensuring a stable electricity supply for all.
All right, thank you very much, Ibrahim Hamidu, for that background report. And to get us into the conversation proper, let me start by introducing here in the studio Engineer Emmanuel Oluwagbenga Ajiboye. He is the Executive Director, Transmission Service Provider, TSP, Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN. Thank you for joining us on Good Morning Nigeria.
Good morning. Good morning, Nigeria.
Ajiboye, what do we know about the level of vandalism of power installations across the country as we speak?
Presently is enormous. From the beginning of this year to today, we have recorded over about 20 attacks, leading to destruction of over 40 towers, both of 132 and 330 kV lines. And this is colossal cost of repairing. As I used to tell people, the cost of repairing could have been channeled to new projects which are being hindered by the work. Presently, from January to the year, we have lost in Borno so many towers, which we even re-erected. Third day they blasted two, Tower 193, 194. We are reconstructing it now. We are at the last stage of supply power to Maiduguri again. We are on that one. When you go to Oshogbo, they destroyed tower, but fortunately for us, the vandals, they were caught overnight. They are at Ijebu-Jesha police station now. When you go to Yenagua also, they brought down about 3 towers, vandalism. We were still battling with that. 3 days later, on 18th, they brought down 13 numbers. So these are so enormous, and it's a source of drain to the organization. We are losing so much money. When we talk about the cost of repairing, the cost of rehabilitation, that's another one. The cost for the people living around that area, the industry, the people using electricity for production is more enormous than us. This throws people into joblessness, and they cause a lot of insecurity again, because when people are idle, they go for another thing. So it's so enormous on the Nigerian resources as a whole, and it is a dangerous trend we are moving on, because it keeps on increasing every day. Though we have been working with other security agents, and they have been assisting, they have been helping us. Like in the Maiduguri case, they have been able to arrest the truckload of our material being taken out. So also in Oshogbo, they have done that. In Ayoda also, it was done. but we still need to put more effort as we have been talking to community, because these lines traverse more than 5,000 kilometers in different terrain, on sea, in the bush. So it is very difficult to be able to monitor them real time. But we are already working on another way of monitoring this line. But it's only the cost of that device, and the system is so enormous.
All right, Engineer Jiboye, talking about power installations being destroyed and vandalized, of course, didn't start today, from what you have said, and is increasing by the day. You're talking about monitoring device being expensive. So why has the TCN not, put a lot of effort and channeled resources in monitoring and protecting these power installations instead of having to repair them after they have been vandalized?
As I said, we are putting effort. But you see, it is a custom-made devices, which we have consulted so many people. We have invited for presentation. We are even in discussion with the Office of National Security Advisor on this. We have taken it to them. They are not what you get off shelf. It's going to be designed specifically for this location. And so many people have brought proposal. Look at the cost now. When we are talking about an asset, for viability of any project, you only use 10% of the cost of that asset to protect it. In a situation whereby I want to protect my asset, and in the next 4 years, the cost of protecting the asset overweigh the cost of the asset, what sense is in that? So it is not economically viable to deploy those technologies now, because they are not homegrown. And we are now talking to the federal government. How can we achieve this one? It's too big for TCN. So that is the major constraint we are having now. We have been going on this issue, and we have been discussing, how can we achieve this? Most of those facilities cannot even be brought to Nigeria without license and certification from either Nigeria. You have to use it in conjunction with Nigerian Air Force. Some of them have gone there, and the license they ask them to pay, they ask us whether they should pay. We say, no, don't pay yet until we agree whether we are going ahead or not. But now presently, that is the way, the limitation we are having. It's not only that. In everywhere in the world, we are in business. We cannot transfer this cost to consumer, because we have to earn that money. If we expend it on the project, we have to earn it from the market. And you know the market is so volatile now that it doesn't, to increase the tariff for electricity will be another thing. Presently, that is the constraint we are having. But we are not stopping there.
I'd like to find out from you in reaction to what Dr. Adamu said about the market. That the market is viable, and that is why people will continue to steal and sell. So what is the TCN doing in that regard?
Okay, thank you very much once again. Actually, when this thing was sitting up in the beginning of the year, we wrote to all the security agencies, including the civil defense. So a meeting was called by the Office of the National Security Advisor. All of us were brought together. Incidentally, what we realized, most of the attack on Abuja was done with IED. So the Ministry of Solid Resource and Mineral was also coming, because they regulate that market of explosive in Nigeria. So we are trying to come together with a framework. Even the civil defense were there, military were there, Air Force, all of us were there. We have identified the market. Most of this scrap are being sold to this smelting company. And we are giving the name of all in Nigeria to the Office of NSA. So they are working in a way to checkmate them. So if you even steal it, you will not be able to sell. And the culprit we are looking for, and because we learned that there is enough law to be used, but unfortunately it's not coming to the limelight. We are trying to be, from the office, they are trying to call the Ministry of Justice, Internal Affairs, to harmonize all those things, so that whoever, because we realize that you catch some people that destroy assets of 800 million naira, you sentence them to 3 months imprisonment or to pay 50,000 naira. So this is so discouraging, even when you arrest somebody and you know this will be the end that has destroyed those assets. So we have been working together, all of us. So from the Office of National Security Advisor, we have done a lot. And I think they will be in the stage of doing this law and sending it to the National Assembly on how to be able to tackle this. Because we have worked together, so many things we discussed in that meeting.
From all that you have discovered, over the years about how power installations have been vandalized, do you suspect that those in the power sector are responsible for the vandalism?
According to doctor, the aggrieved one might be. But let us get one thing clear. Most of the people working in power sector, they don't do most of the construction. We have EPC contractor that does it. They engage different people. After the termination or the completion of the project, those people are thrown back into open market. They can be collaborators. But let me tell you, nobody, especially in TCN, I can hold brief for TCN. For you, you know the cost of the asset. You know that is where you are being paid. Especially now that we have gotten into energy deregulated market, that we earn money from the market, that you know if you are not being paid from the market, you might not get your salary. And you are being well paid, you will never be participating in that. You will not be interested in that because you know the strength, the strain on us whenever this thing happens. So I will rule it out that no reasonable person, no logical person, any money from any of this infrastructure will go for the destruction of the infrastructure.
But that leaves us open to the unreasonable ones. The unreasonable ones want to look at how much they're going to make from that black market and compare what you're paying them. If this pays them better, they become unreasonable, they go ahead.
Well, let me tell you, TCN, we have very dedicated work staff, very dedicated, that are well trained. Apart from the fact that we can have bad egg, which I'm not ruling out, but it's very rare. Because you know what it even means by being suspected. We have disciplinary measure that will make sure you are dismissed or sacked. You will lose all the benefits that is enormous for you to live with for the rest of your life, and you will be tarnished. So I can brief that none of us in TCN will be interested in that.
All right. So thank you very much, Engineer Ajiboye. Let's get back to...
Let's get back here in the studio. Let me get to Engineer Ajiboye quickly. Now, he talked about needing support, that they don't have what it takes in real terms to be able to, do the job that they have been assigned to do. And I'm wondering, is the TCN, doing something for the NSCDC, knowing that this is their primary responsibility, even if it's as corporate social responsibility towards them?
Yeah, thank you very much. The typical case he mentioned on Suleja, precisely tower T70 was brought down. And we got intelligence that they will attack further. We quickly relay to them, and they mobilized. They actually work with us. They stayed there for over 21 days. Because of the movement of those bandits around that place. We provided what they require, mobility. We provided the training that period, and we are still working together.
Technology?
No, not technology. I say mobility.
Yeah, I'm asking now. A step further.
No, when you are talking of technology, I've told you initially about the deployment of drone, which we have been considering, and in discussion with ONSA, they are also involved. Air Force is involved. Defense headquarters are also involved in that thing. So most of the time when we're talking about enlightenment, we have this program, even it's on NTA, where we try to sensitize every community. We have this vote we have set aside to go around. Because you see, as he have said, we pass through a lot of difficult terrain. We use Land Rover, off-road vehicle to go and check those lines from time to time to know their condition and when they are fault. So what we are doing is this. We identify those community. We buy small phone for them. We go there to greet the elders, the chief. They called us. When they see people in that area that are unknown to them, they call us because we have warned them. These people are dangerous. They are always armed. Please pretend as if you don't see them. Call so that we can quickly alert the police or civil defense. And they have been helpful. They have been moving, they move. Like some of the people caught, is the community that will call us. We will now call the police or call the civil defense together. They will quickly move and they do arrest people.
So you're saying that the communities cooperate with
They are
CCN?
cooperating. Most of them are cooperating because we reach out to them. We have this community meeting. We normally do sensitization. When you go to a location, you call all like a local government, you gather all the chiefs. We write letter to them. We call them. We hire a hall. We educate them. We do projection. We show them the problem. And they have been so helpful. they will call us.
Beyond having engagement with them, town hall meetings and all of that, what else is TCN? I know it's not in your purview, but of course you can attract some of this development to those communities. We talked about inaccessibility, for example. You want to site a power station somewhere and the road is inaccessible or you have a lot of barriers. What, is the TCN thinking in that regard, to speak with the right channels, just to make sure that these communities get one or two things that would, of course, make them want to help the TCN and protect these power installations?
Yeah, we work with them. We try to provide as our corporate social responsibility vote can accommodate. So in some community, depending, we are divided into region. We mandate some region. Please assess these people, like grading of the road. If we want to move our heavy equipment to our site, most of the time, it is very difficult. If the road is bad, we cannot move a big transformer. We normally do the grading of the road, try to make it more tolerable when we are working. So those are the little we can do. The percentage of what we can put on CSR is minimal throughout the whole federation. As I've told you, TCN has 177 substations.
Only?
Only. When I'm talking of substation, where we control the power individually in some location, but the towers are scattered all over, in the sense that we have them at the range, until 30, we have them at the range of between 400 and 450 meters. Just imagine that round. So for us to be able to do something for them, it is a bit difficult. Because in some area, let me tell you the truth, they are so hostile to us. Why? They say this tower is passing through their community, they don't have light. We are not the one giving light in that. We are bulk supplier. It is the responsibility of the distribution company to provide light. We only go and pacify in those areas and try to educate them to bear. Then we now collaborate with our disco partner. Please, is there anything you can do in this direction to give these people? Because they are agitating. They are not allowing us to. Because if we don't wield this power to you, you cannot distribute. They sometimes listen to us. If the place is viable, they work on it and work together to achieve results.
Let's get back to Engineer Ajiboye. This looks like a chain. It's not just about the vandals themselves who go to vandalize these towers. It looks like they are being propelled from certain quarters. The example of the solar-powered, street lights, for example, is one. Some people talk about those who import generators, who are in the business of importing generators. And, of course, they don't want us to have steady power supply because they'll run out of business. And we know these people are not just the average Nigerian on the street. These are a top ruling class, if you like, political class doing this. But away from all of that, let's look at the group of people who would vandalize these towers, not because they want to sell or make gains. How far or how much do you enlighten or educate communities that host such infrastructure? Because we know that illiteracy could be a problem. There's some people who think that there are health implications of these kinds of things in their environment, and in the bid to protect themselves and their people, they say, well, let's take it down so that we're safe. But tell us about how safe these installations are around these communities where people reside, and how far you go about enlightenment and education.
Thank you very much once again. The risk of tower line is minimal. That is why we say there should be a healthy right-of way. The meaning is this. For a 330 kV, because of the electromagnetic waves during transportation of energy, if you get close to it, you will be hearing discharge. So based on that, the standard everywhere on 330 should be 50 meters away. After that, nothing. You are safe, completely safe. Though you can walk close to it, but what we discourage is from you living perpetually with it. So when we talk about 50 meters right of way, from the center of that tower, the big one, that is 330, you should have 25 meters this way, 25 meters this way. After that, you are safe. No problem. Even if the line snap, which is very rare, it can drop. We have instances. we have enough protection to take it out immediately. You will just hear only a bam sound, it will go off. Unless we want to try reclosure, because we have instances that the vandals go there to cause that. And we have been able to catch by trial reclosure, what we call trial reclosure. When they get close to the proximity of the line and we do reclosure, they either get electrocuted or get injured. We deter them by that. Apart from that, there is no danger for transmission line. More than you should respect the right of way. On 132 is 25 kilometers, 12.5 on each side of it. So we don't have any problem. That is why during the construction of the line, compensation is paid to move people away to save distance, which we do. And we try to enlighten them in our jingle that please don't stay right under the line. Move away from it because of the danger inherent in the electromagnetic waves of perpetually living with it. And the second one is not common but can happen. The line can snap and drop. And if it drop, you will be electrocuted. But if it drop and reach the head, that is the ground, it will trip immediately. Even if it still touch it will trip, but it would have killed the person. Those are the danger involved. But we made adequate provision for that by paying compensation for all the right of ways before we construct the line and move people away from it.
All right. Now, we've been talking about what the National Assembly can do by way of legislation. You have also talked about, the punishment not being enough to deter people who want to vandalize. But have you made recommendations? Have you engaged with the National Assembly, for instance, to say, if we do this, it will help? I don't think that costs anything.
Yeah. Directly, we have not done that, but through the NSA, we have done that. And they are working on the legislation, as I told you, in the last meeting we had. Madam, I forgot to point out about some people benefiting from it. We quite agree, because I think there is, let me put it, gang up attempt either to bring the government in bad light, because I see no reason. Because community used to call us. Let me tell you, because we engage this community, I think we have instances that our staff have been detained on the line because they didn't go with branded vehicle that they used to see. We had problem with some of our vehicles. They have to go with other vehicles. They have to keep them there and call the most senior person till we went there to rescue them. So they do call our attention to this. But in some area, let me tell you another bad development in Benin area. They go there in the night with vehicle, but people will not be able to come out with generator. They are not ready to steal. It's not stealing. They cut the tower. I can show you picture. They will cut it with chainsaw, about 3 or 4 points. It has 4 footing. They will cut 3. They will go to another place. And you see, when we have serious tidal wind, it will pull it down and pull about 4 or 5.
But what's the motivation?
That is what I'm telling you.
So there'll be darkness.
They want to throw everyone to darkness. Maybe they want to bring down the government, or they want to portray the government in bad light, or somebody that doesn't like TCN want to make sure, they want to show the government that they are not working. There is any agency that doesn't have enemies.
Oh, you have enemies?
There is any agency, because we don't know. We have not been able to identify, to even ask, what is your motive? Why are you bringing this tower down without stealing anything from it? So it do happen. So
I think you should go beyond asking, but investigating. You may just be assuming that they cut 3, leave 1.
We know they understand the logic. To be sincere with you, that if you cut 3, and there is serious wind, it will fall.
Really?
Yes. So when it's going down, it doesn't go down alone. They are very heavy, because we use the right material. We determine the wind zone to know the right material to use. If not, if you just construct a tower anywhere without the appropriate check of the weather, the tidal wind, everything, no matter, even if it's standing, it will bend, it will tilt. So you need to monitor every environmental impact of that location before you design the tower that you are going to put there.
But look at us of the program. I'd like Engineer Emmanuel Ajiboye to give us his final words as round of the conversation, and tell us what's the generating capacity at the moment.
You see, we have 2 different versions When you have installed capacity available to generate, is different from the actual generating capacity. Presently, we are hovering around 5,600. But you see, there are different sectors. Sorry, let me be. Generation is more than 12,000 the capacity. But what can the disco take? You don't generate and suspend it in the grid. You have to consume it immediately. So what the disco can take presently is what we are generating, which is about 5,600. We are targeting 6,000 by the end of this year. We need to invest in the disco. So the transmission capacity as a whole, as we have now, what we call is static. When we say static, is simulated generation is about 8,700 as of today. We are also targeted to go to about 10,000. So these are the different things you need to understand about the electricity distribution chain. So my final take is this. It's an appeal on behalf of all the market participants, both disco generation, to the community, where they host our infrastructure. When you see something, please say something. Try to protect this asset for us for now. As we have been talking about drone, talking about this, how do you expect me to protect over 10,000 kilometers of line that is located around 250 meters apart?
Not you, TCN.
TCN. So,
TCN
thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Engineer Emmanuel Oluwagbenga-Ajiboye, Executive Director, Transmission Service Provider, Transmission Company of Nigeria. It was a pleasure to have you on the program.
Thank you, madam.
And we hope that you deal with some of your enemies and take charge of your territory.